What's up, guys? It's your boy Josh Showtime, along with my man, Hunter Grand Josh Valles, the light skinned assassin. Now, we are here with Showtime's Fight Forum. We talk all things fights. First things first, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Comments have been growing. We appreciate it, and we want to get more of that feedback. We want to hear why you agree, why you disagree, why you think we're an idiot, this, that, and the third. This is what we're here for. We want to make this channel grow per usual. Also, follow us on our social media page that's right below. Once again, we're going to be posting live reactions, updates, our thoughts on the current news. That's where we get our most updated information as far as how we feeling in situations and a slight troll job. So, make sure you follow us on social media. Now, today is obviously going to be a boxing discussion. We're back to our debate topics. Our last debate, which was Ali versus Tyson. And you guys came out, showed out, and y'all, gave us some good opinions. And we appreciate the support. Now we want to hit over 1,000. Matter of fact, we want to hit 2,000 with this new debate that's going on. Now, this debate is a very current debate. All right, it's a very important debate. Why? Because it's a beef that's currently happening right now. It is a fantasy matchup, which means it will never happen. But if it did happen, we would absolutely love it. It wouldn't do Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd numbers, but it would be probably like a Canelo Alvarez and Floyd numbers, I would think. And this fight would be Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Gervonta Tank Davis at lightweight. So this isn't Money May. We're talking about Pretty Boy Floyd. Okay. Now, Josh, how do we feel about this matchup, man?
I love this matchup from just a stylistic standpoint and just the classic power puncher versus a slick boxer who Pretty Boy Floyd did have a lot of pop behind his punches too. So I love this matchup. I've been seeing it circling around social media as well. So intriguing now that they're kind of also beefing a little bit too.
They're always
so it's
their best friends.
Right. So it's an interesting matchup. Definitely one we would all love to see if it was to happen in real life time, right? Like a true Pretty Boy Floyd. But yeah, this is definitely one of those fantasy fights you would want to get your popcorn for.
Yes. So, quick thing, obviously, they're both undefeated. Floyd retired at 50-0. Gervonta Davis, what is he, like 30-0? Was it 30? Yeah. Is it 30 or 29 now? I think he's okay. Yes, he's 30-0. So 30-0 and 50-0. But we already know one is a power puncher with over 95% knockout ratio. And at that time with Floyd, I believe his knockout percentage was really, really high as well. I don't want to say definitely wasn't 90%, but it probably was around above 70% of his fights at lightweight and below, where he was, actually getting these guys out the way. Pretty Boy, we already know, completely different boxer than when he became Money May. And it wasn't just an alter ego. The fighting styles was just literally different. When he became Money, that's when he started to pick his opponents, and he actually started to pick them apart with his patience, with his pull counter two, and then also his just defensive genius. He was always defensively sound, but we know at lightweight, he was more of an offensive guy, and he wouldn't get these guys out the way. So I want to know, man, let break it down, man. Tell me, how do you see this fight playing out? Who do you have winning? Hold on, Josh. I can't hear you. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, I did mute myself. Apologize. Always trying to be respectful on my side. Make sure there's no outside noises bothering you here. So, me personally, how I think this fight plays out, it's definitely, in my opinion, going to go the distance. I don't think this ends in a knockout on either side. I see a high octane action fight between both fighters. I see Tank in the beginning trying to bank in some rounds, and Floyd playing what Tank did last fight against Frank, right? Just kind of sit back, take some rounds, and then lay the blow. I actually see Tank being the aggressor in the beginning, allowing Floyd to process what he's doing. And then I see Floyd really picking it up in the later rounds, taking him out, closing the show, but not a knockout. Like I said, there won't be any knockdowns. There won't be any, TKOs, but there will be some high intensity boxing going on for sure.
Now, I do think with this, and great prediction, but I do think if you ask most boxing historians and guys who've seen Floyd fight his entire career, I would go to say that most would pick Floyd in this fight. I think that just the defensive prowess, also the IQ, the technique, the quickness, and just the fundamentals that he has, even at lightweight. It's just one of those. He was special, and Tank is special in his own right too. But Floyd literally was just a different kind of guy. And I would even tend to join them, but I want to play devil's advocate. I'm going to sit here and say that I can see, and I would pick Tank to win. And I'm going to tell you why I think Tank will win. And I don't think that this fight will go to distance. Tank is not the kind of guy to go to distance. That's not his style. He wants to knock you out. And I'll explain why I have Tank winning. We both know well, I'm not going to say both. Tank is a slow starter. Tank also can get hit. He is hittable. All right. Now, granted, he's still sound defensively, but he's nowhere near the defensive genius that is Floyd. I can see Floyd opening up, getting comfortable, and getting clipped with the shot that genuinely will hurt him. We've seen Floyd rock. Yes, Floyd's never been dropped. Unless you want to count the Zab Judah. That technically, he got dropped. But yet and still, you don't want to count it. It is what it is. But yet and still, we have seen Floyd hurt though, multiple times. And to the point where it probably would have been best for what? Are we going to deny that he's been hurt multiple times? Are we forgetting?
I'm not denying that he hasn't been hurt multiple times, but go ahead. It just sounds like you're acting as if Tank also isn't hurt multiple times in a fight, but go for it.
He's been hurt before, sure. But here's the thing, though. He's been hurt by guys who are legit power punchers. Now, Floyd has sting in his in his punches. I'm not saying he doesn't, even at lightweight. But he's not like a KO artist. He doesn't just straight sleep, folks. He TKOs him, he hurts him. And yes, that's possible with Tank. But we have not seen Tank. We have not ever seen Tank on wobbly legs like we saw Floyd. We've never seen that. We have seen Floyd on skates versus Shane Mosley. We've seen him hurt bad versus Crawley. We have seen him rocked, okay? We've seen it multiple times. Now, that's my thing. I see him opening up. I see him getting comfortable. And Tank will literally duck into a shot, get him with a straight right or a hook shot to his with his dominant hand, and it will hurt Floyd just like it hurt him versus Mosley. And the only difference is Tank has the gas tank and he has the efficiency to be able to get him out of there. And I don't think that he's gonna let Floyd cheat and armbar him and literally hold and grab and do things that, granted, it was smart that he did what he needed to do to survive.
He was almost 37 years old. Yes, he took a hard shot from Mosley, but Mosley, Floyd was almost 40 himself during that fight. So I don't really.
He was not almost 40. Relax.
He was like lie. 30. He was like 35, 36, right?
No, he was not 35. He was like more like 33.
Let's check here. I'm on it right now.
Yeah, I would say we can do.
Okay, so he's 30. He was 33. So what?
Exactly.
The point that I'm making is it's boxing. It happens to the best of us. He did get caught by a good shot, but let's not act like Shane Mosley is a loser either. I mean, this is
about Crawley?
Champion. This is a world champion, huh?
What about Crawley? He also was this is at lightweight, so this is at Floyd in his prime. Got rocked. Something serious.
It happens to the best of us. It's boxing. That's like saying I can't believe the Baltimore Ravens gave up a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Like, what do you mean? You're going up against a high-powered New York Giants offense. Of course, like it is what it is, right? So it happens to the best of us.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is, dude, we're talking about Floyd. We're talking about Floyd Money Mayweather, who has even before the Money Mayweather. The Pretty Boy still had that elite defense. So we're not talking, I don't know what open shots you're talking about. Once, maybe every 5 fights he gets caught. It happens to the best of us. But I don't see this being one of like I said, a big action fight, but I don't see it to where Floyd's almost getting dropped. I just see,
here's the thing. We have to remember this. Yes, Floyd is defensively sound, but at lightweight, he was 10 times more hittable. He was getting hit a lot at lightweight, okay? We got to remember the Castillo fight. Even the Emmanuel Augusta fight, where he literally beat the hell out of Emmanuel Augustus. However, he was getting popped a lot too. He had a bloody nose in that fight. legit was getting clipped a lot in that fight. Why? Because he was just so offensive during those times. So I'm not saying he's not like, defensively sound. Yes, we already know he was. But yet and still at that point in that period, because we're talking about lightweight Floyd, he was 10 times more hittable. He was getting hit a lot in those times. And and I think I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the exact time frame where he was well, no, actually, this was at welterweight where he was training with his dad, and he was getting hit a lot more too. But like even when with his trainer, when his dad was his trainer, he also was getting hit a lot more. So I mean, it's just I know he's more hittable, and I just think with Tank, it is just the margin of error with that guy, man. It's the same exact thing with Deontay Wilder. It's the same thing when you fight a Mike Tyson or George Foreman. When you fight these guys that just have unworldly power, like you can't make a mistake. You can't be too offensive. You can't fight Tank and be super offensive because he will knock you out. He will catch you. You got to be perfect for 36 minutes. And that's so difficult. And once again, if anybody can do it, yes, Floyd Mayweather is the man to do it. But yet and still, I'm not going to give him that. I'm just not. I'm going to sit here and say Tank will be able to figure out a way to get a clean shot. And that's all it takes. All it takes. We saw what he did with Hector. What happened to Hector? I'm not saying Hector is good as Floyd. He's not. But yet and still, Hector got comfortable and he went blind. He went Stevie Wonder in a fight and his eyes was open. He could see. He just said he couldn't. That is unworldly power.
Yeah, but once again, the names that you have dropped to Hector Garcia, these are great fighters in the hot moment right now. Like, oh yeah, he won a couple fights. He's a good fighter. We're talking about Pretty Boy Floyd. Okay, we're talking about this era of Floyd set him up for the era of Floyd that has set up generations and generations and generations for him to come, his family, right? Like it started with Pretty Boy. So we're talking about a Lomachenko with power. We're talking about a guy in Floyd Mayweather, Pretty Boy Floyd, who I feel like people forget that he maybe didn't have that one-shot knockout power that you talk about with Tank, but he did have knockout power. So who's to say somebody like Tank, who also gets hit all types of fights, who's to say that Floyd won't knock him out?
It's very possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. Tank, like
there were a few punches in Tank's last few fights where you see him take a punch and you're like, he looked like he about to doing the stanky leg. So I mean, no, I've seen Tank do the stanky leg a few times in a few fights.
The most hurt I've seen Tank was versus Mario Barrios. I thought he rocked him really good. Like in that later half of the fight, I want to say it was like the 8th or 9th round, right before he got dropped. He caught Tank with something nice, and I remember he stumbled, then went against the rope, and Mario did nothing. Like I was like, brother, what are you doing? He's hurt. What are you doing? Outside of that, I haven't seen Tank like wobbly.
I've seen it in a few fights, in my humble opinion. I think his recovery matches his athletic, endurance, right? For him to recover that fast, like you have to be in shape. But I've seen him. He's definitely one to get caught as well. He even got caught against Frank in his last fight. Look at his face, right? So imagine a guy like Pretty Boy Floyd, who is once again Tank with Lomachenko movement.
One, he's not Tank because he has nowhere near the power. But I will say, and I agree, that Floyd will land a lot versus Tank. But that's my point. That's literally what I'm saying. Floyd will land, and I honestly think he would. If it goes to the decision, Floyd will win. I don't think Tank can ever outbox Floyd. He's not good enough. And once again, that's saying so much praise to Floyd because Tank can box. He has high IQ, very underrated IQ level boxer, and a very underrated skill level when it comes to boxing. So he can box, but yet and still, he's not the master that Floyd is. There's not too many human beings in the world that I would pick in a unanimous decision win over Floyd. I don't think you can name 5 guys that will beat Floyd in a 12-round fight. You got to get him out of there. He's just too technical. He's just too smart. He's just too good. He knows how to play the game. But I'm saying that he's going to get comfortable being as aggressive as he would be at 135 He knows he's a power puncher, but he's still going to be aggressive. He's still that's just like Diego Corrales when they said he was a killer. He's a knockout artist. This, that, and the third. Floyd was aggressive, and Floyd was piecing this man up. All right. I think I'm not saying he would fight that same exact way, but I do see him using his range. He has 5 inches of reach on him. He's like 4 inches, 5 inches taller. So he's going to be the bigger man naturally than Tank. And he's going to try to pick him apart, and he's going to get comfortable. And I think that comfortability, especially with Gervonta taking rounds off, is going to leave him open to a shot that he doesn't see coming, because Tank is still explosive, he's still fast, he's still powerful, and he just needs one shot. I think he would get that one shot in 36 minutes. And I'm not saying that because I'm from Maryland. I'm saying that because I genuinely just trust this man's power.
Well, you are from Maryland, but as we do know, Tank is from like Baltimore. I don't know Baltimore.
Yeah, that's technically another state.
That's like a whole nother state. No, but to your point, I'm not denying that Tank is not going to catch Floyd. I'm not denying that Tank is going to land some quality shots on Floyd. What I'm saying is it ain't going to be like no Frank Martin boom against the ropes.
No, I don't
it's
see
definitely
that.
not going to be
he broke Frank down. I don't think he's not breaking Floyd down. I'm not saying I didn't disrespect Floyd like that. What I'm saying, it's going to be a counter flash KO. That's what I'm saying. He's not breaking Floyd down to the point where Floyd has no other option but to get KO. That's not happening. I know that.
I don't think we've ever seen Floyd get hurt from a counter shot.
Hold on.
I don't think we've ever seen it.
Well, no. Crawley was a counter shot, and that's what got him caught. He was being so aggressive. He got clipped with, I believe, a right hook, and he was on stumbly legs. He recovered and he dominated after the fight, but yet and still, he still got caught with a counter shot. So he is to be had. Now, and this is the thing. I'll say this:
one time out of 50 fights, and we could say out of 29 knockouts, Tank's 28 of them come from like TKOs. But go ahead. Or I'm sorry, counter shots.
I will say this though: if it was Money May style, and he fights how he fights. Like, let's say you try to fight him how he fought Canelo, or he fights how he fought Pacquiao. He's winning that fight 10 times out of 10, 100%. He's beating Tank. So it does depend on which version of Floyd we get. If we get the aggressive Floyd, he's getting KO. If we get the defensively responsible, and I'm just gonna pot shot you and just counter, he's gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this fight, no matter how you look at it, I don't think it'll ever end in a KO. They can fight a million times. I think a million times it will go to a decision.
Yeah, I thought that same exact thing versus Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, and I was hella wrong. You would have ever told me either one of them would have knocked the other person out, I'd have been like, no, they're too good. And well, one got their ass whooped.
Yes and no. For that one, I feel as if, yes, I did not see any of them really getting knocked out. But with both fighters, I felt like that was a fight where it was like, something's got to give. I don't see Floyd knocking out Tank, but I definitely don't see Tank knocking out Floyd. And the reason why Floyd's not knocking out Tank is because I don't think he just wants to do that. I don't think he would want to do that within that fight. I think that, to your point, that would mean Floyd would have to overcommit, and I don't think he would do that. I think he would just be very aggressive but play it smart like he was throughout his whole career. That's what made him great, right? And I think Tank will find frustration in that and try to overcommit himself. I just can't see this fight going in a KO or TKO in any sense.
Hey man, agree to disagree, but you know what? We want to hear what you guys think. All right, this is a beef. This is a fight that will never happen. So guys, it won't happen. Let's move on. But yet and still, it's a fantasy fight, man. Please tell us, one, who do you have winning? Tank versus a prime Tank versus prime Floyd. I would think right now is the best version of Tank that we're getting. So just imagine Tank right now versus 135 Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd, whatever fight that you think he was at his best. And I want to know, who do you guys have winning and why? Also, we would love for you guys to tell us give us some fantasy matchups. Who do you want us to do, and who do you want us to predict? Because I'm down for any matchups. It could be current 90s, 2000s. Even if it's a guy we really don't know too much information about, we will literally watch fights. It's not hard to find them, and we will still give our predictions on who we think is going to win. So we want to make this as interactive as possible. We appreciate you guys for watching as much as you have and supporting. Make sure you subscribe and all that good stuff, like we said before. Josh, you got anything to say before we head out?
I think you said it best. Just make sure you follow us on Josh's Fight Forum, and we look forward to interacting with you all soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But thank you guys as always, man. Make sure y'all stay blessed for us on social.